Hey everybody, this is Brad from My Simple Builds, and today we're going to take a look at the hot foil transfer tip, using it on acrylics with the Xtool M1 Ultra. I previously reviewed this using using the gold foil on wood. Today we wanted to try it out to see what it's looked like on acrylic. First off, overall, again, I love this item. It's a great tool. I've been able to use it for a couple of different projects so far, and it's been pretty much flawless results compared to the regular foil tip, which does a good job but doesn't work on hard surfaces. So this one is going onto acrylic, which obviously is going to be a harder surface than a cardboard or a paper type product, closer to that hard wood that we tried previously in the other video. One of the things I got to say is I did both tools on the same plastic. And you'll see that in this presentation. The regular foil tip on the acrylic just rubs right off. So it's not a long-term effect. It's, maybe good for testing if you want to see what the foil would look like on acrylic. But for something that's a little bit more permanent, you're going to want to use that hot foil tip to do the embossing or the transfer of that foil onto the material. So let's take a look at the project. Starting off in Creative Space, we're going to bring in the capture or the snapshot of the tool so that we can see the image, get it properly placed. Make sure that you're choosing the right type of tool for what you're going to do. I dropped some text onto the page and adjusted it accordingly. I did check to see if there were any other type of settings for acrylic for the hot foil. Currently nothing loaded, only for laser cutting. Again, we're going to choose the mode for a foil transfer tip. And I did set the settings at about 83. I did the same settings for both items, whether it was for the foil tip or for the hot foil. And we set them there at about 83 and 10 or 20, depending on which tool I used for the pressure. I'm going to go through the process. Now, one thing I got to say about the foil tip is the process is really slow. We're talking about 9 minutes for this simple text. Just says make something to do a fill on those words. About a minute or so for just doing an outline. I did both with both tools just so that we can see. And again, when we repeat the steps for the hot foil tip, one of the things that you'll see differently, it drops the time down to about 5.5 minutes versus the 9, almost 10 minutes. I did increase the speed to 50. I used the basic settings that were in the tool. The closest thing that I could come up with was comparing it to a basswood. Again, when you go to set the settings for an acrylic for this type of tool, it's currently nothing in the machine for that. So as we pull off the material and take a look at it, because this is a clear, it's really hard to see it on the camera. But I wanted to just kind of point out, again, I did run the test basically 4 different times, twice with just the outline, twice with the fill. The regular foil tip is, for the most part, like I said, it just kind of rubs off. It's very light setting, barely even see it. The other version of it with the hot foil, you can actually feel, I don't know if it's doing any kind of melting to the acrylic or not, but you can definitely feel the texture. And just a basic rub, it doesn't come off. I did wipe it off with a rag just to see what also would happen. Xtool released a short video over the weekend showing the use of this hot foil tip on a black acrylic It appears that they're making some type of like wedding invitation or some type of invitation, save the date kind of card. It turns out really good. It's a real crisp image, and trying to recreate that, they didn't provide any of the settings in that video other than how to cut the acrylic, which we would do on a different machine. I typically only use this M1 Ultra for the foiling, the embossing, cutting out of vinyl, and the inkjet or the ink printer. I don't use it for laser because it's indoors in my basement, and I have a much more powerful laser out in the garage that does the trick. So in this particular case, as we recreated this project, I just put some simple text onto a piece of scrap acrylic, and again, going forward with it, I think it provides great results. Looking at this again, you know, for the most part, everything I can see on it, that second layer that was done with that hot foil tip turned out really well. Again, it doesn't rub off. I could see using this on a variety of things, maybe ornaments or some type of awards or other things along that realm. Because of the time, it's not something that I would use for mass production. More so for one-offs, but definitely not for mass production. It's just simply not fast enough. Even with the cut time from that 9 minutes down to that 5.5 minutes, I could be doing other things in that 5 minutes. I mean, and it only wrote the words, get creative. Okay, so it is by no means a fast process. And again, this M1 Ultra is not designed for your big business production. It is made for crafters. However, I do see it as a very valuable tool in the products that I make, because there are those times where I just cannot either cut materials small enough for lettering, but I needed a way to transfer ink over, and setting up a screen printer, it's just too cumbersome for just something that's a few words. So for something like adding names to an ornament, or special text to an ornament, or to a memento, or an award of some type, this thing is perfect for a one-off. Again, not for a mass production effort. If you found what we did in this video interesting, I hope you come back, give us a like, subscribe, and if there's something you'd like me to review, please let me know. Looking for other items to test in my workshop and to use for my business. I don't always remember to record, and that's probably the biggest flaw about trying to do a YouTube channel and do business. You just can't. It's really difficult to keep up with both. But again, I appreciate you coming and joining us for this video. Again, my name is Brad, and this is My Simple Builds.